Atma Namaste, Girish.
Atma Namaste. I hope we are all live and everybody who's watching Atma Namaste, welcome to the day 3 on the discussions of Pitru Paksh. So we have some very interesting questions and today can we start with a very interesting question on what is Bardo? Lakshmi ma'am, if you could enlighten us on this aspect of Bardo, please.
Okay. Bardo is a word which is mainly pertaining to the Buddhist tradition. Yes. So it's also, you can just put it in very simple, plain words as the twilight zone. You can put it into simple words as just simply the twilight zone. The transition from one state to another is essentially called as a bardo. So the transition can happen at the time of birth, and there is a very important transition which happens at the time of death. So this transition is basically from the physical state to the higher energy state, which is into the emotional body. Now, what happens exactly at this time of Bardo or death Bardo? Let us call it the death Bardo. What happens exactly at this time? So many people actually are not prepared. That is the most important point to understand. There is no preparation for death. So at the last minute, the utmost important culmination point of your entire life, we end up thinking, remembering, anticipating what is going to happen to our family, to our property. We would end up expecting that things would become better, and we would just not be ready to enter in this more beautiful world that we are actually going to enter into. There is a more beautiful world that is waiting for us. For example, if a person is paralyzed on the wheelchair, for that particular person, entry into the next world is actually liberation, because that person can be relieved from the physical inhibitions of being on a wheelchair or being in a state of misery and pain over here. So Bardo essentially means the point of transition. And at this point of transition, it is like there will be a replay of your entire life in front of you. Maybe 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. The number of minutes can actually change, or it can be different depending on what people think is a minute. Yes, sometimes you would say, oh, it's just been a minute and it have already passed by like 10 minutes. Yes. So it's all a matter of, it's relative. Okay. So how much time does this Bardo actually extend to is a major question that people think and ask about. How much time, how painful, how painless, what will happen. Actually, at that point, there is zero pain. Yes, however sick you have been, however unwell you have been, however miserable you have been, the culmination of the entire lifetime, bringing it to those final moments, is actually designed to bring in tremendous divine energy. वो जो आखिरी के कुछ क्षण होते हैं, वो इतने ज्यादा दिव्य ऊर्जा आपके जिंदगी और आपके जो यात्रा में इतना ज्यादा दिव्य ऊर्जा लेके आने के लिए इस तरीके से डिजाइन किया गया कि एक्चुअली उस समय पे कोई दर्द नामक चीज नहीं होती है। सिर्फ मनुष्य का आदत के अनुसार वो अपने दिमाग को कहीं कहीं फंसा के रखता है, किसी प्रॉपर्टी इश्यू में, किसी बच्चों के मामले में, या अपने घर बार के मामले में, कुछ अपने ही तबीयत के बारे में सोच सोच के। जो सोच और विचार के दुनिया में जीने की जो आदत है, उस आदत के वजह से आखिरी जो कुछ क्षण जो उसको सीधा सीधा स्वर्ग तक पहुंचा सकता है, उन क्षण में जो दिव्य ऊर्जा उसके तरफ भिजवाया जा रहा है, उस ऊर्जा को मिस करने का चांसेस है ना। उस एन मौके पे उस ऊर्जा को वो मिस कर सकता है। ओके, now Bardo is a quite an extensive subject actually. So in these last few minutes, let's say 3 minutes or 6 minutes, your entire lifetime, whatever you have done, whatever you thought that nobody would have registered, nobody would have seen, everything is played back to you. In the Christian tradition, it is called as the Judgment Day. And who is the judge? It is yourself. Yes. So in all of the traditions, we talk about the last moments, and these last moments have to be spent in greater remembrance of God. Any of the traditions, whether it is Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, or Christianity, they always talk about the last moments being spent in the remembrance of God or of higher beings, or simply to shift your consciousness from worldly affairs to a certain higher frequency. Because the frequency in which you are at this point of time, yes, the frequency, that is your physical body, has a certain frequency. The chakras at the physical and the etheric level, the etheric chakras, vibrate with a certain frequency. And what is simply going to happen is you are going to escape out of this frequency orbit. And you are going to enter into a new frequency orbit, right? So at that point, for you to enter into a new frequency orbit, for you to be helped to enter into a new frequency orbit, you need to connect yourself to certain beings, energy beings, gods, paramatmas, call them whatever it is, prophets, whose frequencies were higher than our physical and etheric frequencies. And that will help us to land ourselves into their world. That is the ultimate motive of death. Okay, and Bardo is that golden opportunity, which if well utilized through practice in the entire lifetime, can take you out of the clutches of the lower emotional world and the lower emotional energies that you have created, and zoom, take you up into the world which is called as heaven. Okay.
So, ma'am, is it appropriate? So when we talk about judgment day, or that time when a person themselves is assessing their own rights and the wrongs and the omissions and everything, whatever is happening, but that time many people are not aware of their own virtues, their characters, what was right, what. So how does that happen? Like if they don't know about character building or the virtues?
So you see, that's why at the onset I said you need to live a life of practicing. So every meditation, especially the Raja Yoga, as is practiced by our modality, is supposed to be a practice session for the point of death. So there is a point or a terminal which is located in the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is located in the central portion of your brain. So literally in the middle of your head, that is the top portion of the head. So the pineal gland, within which is located what is called as the mental permanent seed, yes, the pineal gland, in the middle of which is what is located the mental permanent seed, is the terminal point through which we can actually connect and interact with our soul consciousness, which is actually a part of us. But the larger picture of the soul consciousness, what we call as the Atma, which is actually supposed to guide us, or which is actually the one who is undertaking the journey called life, our ability to connect to this higher soul consciousness is a matter of practice that we do with these regular meditations, the regular understanding through knowledge, intellect, through elimination of darkness in our life, by radiating love and light to all those who are around us. This is all a part of the preparation that we are talking about. You see, at the end moment, it is not possible to learn. And it is more harder to learn when you have left the physical body. So to make things easier, a small example would be of a movie of Amitabh Bachchan, which is Bhootnath, part 1. So Amitabh Bachchan in this particular movie is trying to run down the stairs to talk to his son. And in the endeavor to run down the stairs, सीढ़ियों से नीचे भागते हुए आ रहा है और नीचे भागते हुए आते हुए वो गिर जाता है और मर जाता है. He falls down and he dies. But of course, he's completely oblivious, not obvious of that condition. The death has happened. It has happened like a sudden death. It's like an accident. And the next scene of that particular movie, he's shown trying to talk to his son, and his son does not respond. He is shown trying to talk to his son, and his son does not respond. So his son cannot actually see him because Amitabh, who ran down the staircase, fell down and died, his etheric body or etheric consciousness in a split second moved out of the body, which still has the same form as he had the form when he was physically alive. He has the same form as the form that he possessed when he was physically alive. And the son cannot see the etheric form. The son can only see the physical form. So even if Amitabh tries to talk to his son, tries to communicate, it is not possible because he has lost his physical body. Now, this point of transition was so quick that he simply did not realize it. Was it painful? No, it was not even painful. Did he realize it? No, he did not even seem to know that there is a difference. He has not shifted to a new surrounding, a new locality. He is still there. What did I say? He is simply still there. So what happens is that we are inside this vessel, which we call as the physical body. And the chakras connected to the physical body at the etheric level have a certain vibration, a certain frequency. And simply moving out of the body is to move at a higher frequency and get out. Okay. What actually happens is you move, your frequency rate increases, and you zoom out of the physical body, right? Sometimes when people are in misery, in a lot of fear, in insecurity, when they have been brutally murdered, then they don't even leave their etheric body. When they don't leave their etheric body, they are seen as the Preta Sharira or the Vret. In the Christian thing, they're called as the Vrets of the graveyard, right? They are seen as just white outlines. That is for some people who are so attached to their property, so attached to their surroundings, to their family, they just don't want to leave them. And they could be seen for long, long durations after their death. So this entire lifetime is the preparation. That is why listening to spiritual talks, reading spiritual books, enlightening yourself for where you are going to go is as important as trying to earn a lot of money, build huge bungalows, buy luxury cars. That is fine, but you really don't know when death is going to take all of this away. So the preparation has to be done beforehand. And I simply think, and I'm so grateful for what is happening on this Mother Earth, so many spiritual schools because different people connect to different people, different frequencies, different energies, different ways of putting about the same information. The same information brought out in different languages, in different methods, is important to cover the whole human population and prepare them for making this lifetime worth living and making sure that the next life that they are going to go into is many steps forward in their evolutionary process. Okay?
So the people who are say suppose grandparents who have left the body, now they were not able to experience all the spiritual schools, spiritual teachings, and still if we want to help them, or who are still very attached, and they how do we first come to this information, knowing this information, that if they have moved out of that attachment, and what we can do to help them further in their journey, so that our enlightenment or our understanding can in some way bring some liberation, some help to them.
Okay. Now the point is like this. When I work on my development, I, the individual, am the present. I, this individual, am the culmination of all the energies, all the genetic structure, of all the information that was there with my ancestors. Because everything is brought down with the cell memory. All the information that they would have gathered has all gone into the Akashic records. And the reflection of the Akashic record are the cells which are connected to sexual reproduction. The reflection of the Akashic records, which is all the culmination of all information, of all my ancestors, yes, is actually available in each cell of the reproductive system, right? So now that we are that small ansh or that small speck of what all they were, when we, the present, we, the now, we, the present, are going to transform our consciousness, bring ourselves out of the darkness into the light of illumination, into the wisdom of illumination. When we are able to understand about character purification, about spiritual upgradation, that understanding, by the virtue of our connection, we are all still connected. I think this sums it up, that the sexual reproductive cells that we have is a summation of all the energy that all our ancestors have brought down. The genetic structure, the height, the skin, the eyes, everything is a summation. Yes, no female, no male, all summations, right? The DNA has all the summation of all the information. And all that information is available with us. That means we are direct outposts of their energy. And when we transform our energy at this present point through greater spiritual understanding, through meditations, through knowledge, through wisdom, yes, now all of this is definitely going to benefit them because they are connected to us. So at a very energy level, we call it the etheric cords, the karmic cords. So there are cords. And these are cords which we cannot just disconnect, because there has been an etheric and a karmic connection, which you cannot deny, because they are just inside you. Yes, जो हमारे sexual reproductive system के जो cells हैं, वो हमारे सब पूर्वजों के सब ज्ञान, सब तरीके का, सब information का एक, what do you say, it's a summation. Yes, it's a summation, है ना? तो हम इस तरीके से हम अपने पूर्वजों के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. और जब हम जो अंश है उनके, हम अपने पे काम करें, हम अपने अंदर परिवर्तन लेके आए, हम अपने सोच विचार को बेहतर करें, तो उनके अंदर भी वो परिवर्तन अपने आप से होगा. Yes.
So, ma'am, is it appropriate to say that if one person is investing in their own development and uh, rather than somebody spending a lot on liberating others in terms of even time and money and resources, but then not at all taking any responsibility to develop oneself, so that is not going to help at all. Even the new offspring is not going to get benefited. Is that what we are coming to?
Yes, you see, helping others is part of our dharma. Yes. So helping others helps us to transform. Helping others is a part of our journey of transformation. But then all that help that we are providing to others is ultimately going to culminate in a transformation within ourselves. And yes, you are absolutely correct that if you are not going to work upon yourself, it is not going to benefit your offsprings. Yes, if you are not going to work upon yourself, you will not be able to actually liberate those who are around you. The whole World Wide Web, very closely, intricately knitted World Wide Web. That is what we all are a part of, right? And the nearest points that we are connected to is our family. Family, whether we talk to them, do not talk to them, whether we remember them, do not remember them, whether a child has gone into a foster home, has been adopted, does not matter. The etheric connections will still stay with the biological parents. Yes, the etheric connection with the biological parents still remain. Yes, so because the information, the summation of all the information is available in the sexual reproductive cells. The cell membrane, the cell memory has all of that information. So yes, it is very, very important to work on ourselves, but the world is the playground. The world is the college. The world is the learning ground. You can call it anyway, right? But the world is the important place. You help others, you help yourself.
So helping others involves not only people who are still in the physical body, but with every enlightenment, every development of one's own spiritual understanding and capabilities will help even their ancestors, and hence the practices of Pitru Paksh has so much of significance, and many people still do a lot of activities towards it.
Yes, I totally understand. I agree with that thing, that the Pitru Paksh, and in the Hindu tradition, it is also the new moon, which is considered as an important monthly event, which will help liberate souls who have been connected to us. And yes, there are so many myths regarding this particular period, and people actually ignore any kind of participation in any kind of things which are connected to ancestors. It is not completely superstition. It cannot be superstition, because your constitution comes from an ancestral tree. Your DNA can be traced back to many generations of ancestors. So if you carry their DNA with you, if you carry some information about them with you, so obviously if what you're carrying is at even the physical level, then there's a lot of energy transmission to and fro that is still happening, whether you know it or not. Okay.
Ma'am, there are many people who are now saying, like, we are not, very ritualistic, and we are not very religious, and they are coming up with a lot of, especially a lot of youth are coming up with their own belief system. But then because of this whole, they get pushed away with a lot of rituals. So how exactly they should move forward with when it comes to this understanding of ancestor, or basically helping them also? It's not just about the physical people, but also about them.
Okay, I do understand that the rituals sometimes repels you. Yes, the rituals are too overwhelming many times, that you don't do it with enthusiasm. You don't understand it. You don't do it with enthusiasm. You really don't get why you have to do it. And I do agree to the point that it does not fascinate you. And many people would just not like to go ahead or carry it forward. So in these cases, we need to remember that the following of the rituals may not be of utmost importance, agreed, but we should not be looking down on people who are doing that also. The second point, if somebody wants it to do it the ritualistic way, it's fine. Yes, everybody is different. If they do it out of fear, then of course it is not all that fine, but at least they want to do it for their own satisfaction, to remove their fear, let us say. Yes, because ये नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ बुरा तो नहीं हो जाए, इस डर के मारे कई लोग करते हैं, जिसके कारण जो लोग थोड़ा अपने आप को इंटेलेक्चुअल समझते हैं, तो वो लोग इन चीजों से बहुत कोसों मील दूर चले जाते हैं. So it is an unfortunate catch-22 trap. So the point is, we cannot actually oversee or neglect the presence of these beings around us. And we cannot completely deny their existence. With the oncoming of various aura scanners, energy cameras, we know that there is an energy world which is still unseen by human eyes. So the scientists are slowly trying to penetrate into this energy world. And many of the so-called superstitions held some kind of a weightage. Of course, it becomes a monopoly of a certain section. That is where the problem is. It becomes a method of instilling fear, of an authoritative person to take control, a dictatorship kind of outcome, what religion has created. That is what is to be repelled. But sometimes, if you go deep into the Sanskrit prayers, they have very simple meanings. They have simple English meanings, which just intend that my forefathers in heaven receive the blessings of God. Yes, or they see the light and they move into greater levels of energy, into the mountains, into the rivers, because the mountains or rivers are supposed to have greater prana shakti. So these are just intentions that are put forward in most of the Sanskrit prayers. The problem is when we follow these prayers without any understanding, and when we are pushed to do them with a certain degree of fear instilled into us. When there is fear, there would be rebellion. But yes, it is time for us to understand why this is to be done and what will be the benefit. And you need to feel the energies. That is where the energy healing methods come into action.
So,
you are able to, yes.
So it would be better to say that the more a person understands energy and what is energy, how to feel energy, how to quantify energy, what are the different types of energy. So the more a person is equipped, the more they can understand, the more they can utilize.
Yes,
so the knowledge of energy.
Yes.
So the knowledge of energy, we can say, is the future, because that is something which will unify or could unite all the different practices or the religions or the techniques or the methods, because it's speaking the language of frequency, which has no discrimination with age, gender, culture, religion, traditions.
Yes, the science of energy healing will be the new world order. The science of energy healing, the art and science of energy healing will be the new world order, because the youth are very sensitive to energy. They can feel energies. They are more emotional in nature. They're more sensitive in nature. And the more they're capable of feeling the energy, assessing the energy, what kind of energies that they are receiving from a certain place, and they take their decisions based on what they feel. And it's a simple science that can be taught and imbibed. And they can actually see what is the change when they are meditating, when they're channelizing peace, when they're channelizing love. And is it true that their ancestors are actually moving to higher frequencies? And by doing these sessions, are they experiencing any kind of transformation in their physical conditions, in their energy conditions, in their enthusiasm? Yes, these will be the milestones through which we have to take forward these practices. So,
Great. So, can we do some practices where we can experience
yes.
some energies?
So we will today try and channelize a lot of love to all those who are around us here and all those who are connected to us from this or any previous incarnations. So you may touch your heart with the left hand, softly touch your heart with the left hand. And you may use your right hand in the blessing position. And you may intend to channelize a lot of soft, loving, compassionate, peaceful energies, pink energy, into the hearts of all these people who are ethically connected to you, whether you know it or not, and who are around you, who are helping you in this birth, and who have helped you in many previous births. Touch your heart with the left hand and channelize a lot of love into all of them. May this love transform all anger, anxiety, all hatred, all want to injure oneself and others. Be transformed by this loving, compassionate light into peace, into understanding, into patience and tolerance, into forgiveness. Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May all jealousy and enviousness be transformed into inspiration, ability to propel forward, become a better version of oneself. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May all intense fear, insecurities, phobias, traumas the gripping nature of fear that we find ourselves within may be completely transformed into deeper understanding of simple spiritual truths, deeper understanding of the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, the law of changes, deeper understanding that Atma, the soul, never dies, and there need not be any fear, for we are truly immortal. May all our energies of fear be transformed through the deeper spiritual understanding into greater divine knowledge. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. The unconditional love, unshakable peace, and infinite bliss of God be with me and be with everyone around me. The unconditional love, unshakable peace, and infinite bliss of God be with me and be with everyone connected to me. The unconditional love, unshakable peace, infinite bliss of the divine be with me and everybody who remembers me or everybody whom I remember. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Blessings be to all. We thank the Supreme Parabrahman, the Almighty, the Supreme God, the Divine Father, Divine Mother, Divya Mata, Divya Pita, all the great ones, the Paramatmas, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, all the Devas, the Mahadevas, archangels, holy angels, the spiritual helpers. We thank you all for your constant presence with us and all those who are connected with us. Thank you for your divine guidance, help, protection. Thank you for the intense peace, compassion. Thank you for the peace and compassion that you are constantly pouring into our life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, in full faith. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for helping us understand that channelizing of unconditional love, unshakable peace, and infinite bliss will transform our lives for the better. We thank you. Atma Namaste to all of you. Thank you for being with us in this session.